Respectfully, President Obama, what you said is not acceptable.
Facts.
I'm going to say it again. Respectfully, what you said is not acceptable. Not to me, not to a host of black men out there who's not even thinking about voting for Donald Trump. What you said is unacceptable. I'll tell you why in a minute. But before I do that, I want to go to Khalil Thompson, co-founder and executive director of Win with Black Men, who responded to criticism of Obama's comments. Take a look at what he had to say here. Quote, I believe President Obama is speaking to a tangible, visceral understanding of what it means for all men to relate to women in America. Calling out misogyny is not wrong.
What? Grab your pots and pans. It's time to cook. Don't forget the spatula. Now, on today's discussion, we'll be talking about Stephen A. Smith and his reaction to what Obama said. But most importantly, what's your thoughts on it? Leave them comments down below. I really want to know what you thought about this one. Was Obama wrong for this? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that he was reaching. He was quite wrong for this. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe that it wasn't nothing wrong with it, wrong with what he said, and let me know why. And don't forget to hit them links down below to add value onto your life, and email me for the next topic. On that note, let's discuss.
End quote. To co-founder Khalil Thompson, you're wrong too. And what you said is unacceptable. You see, what you're missing is that.
Pause, Stephen A. Smith. They always try to use these words like toxic masculinity, misogyny. They did the same thing with Andrew Tate. When they're trying to attack something, they use a certain trigger word, and I'm noticing it, right? And I'm here to point it out. You can't be toxic and be a man at the same time. It's like an automatopoeia, like a jumbo shrimp. You know, it look good, it sound good, but it's just still a little shrimp. So you can't be that at the same time, because a man can't be toxic if a man is held at a certain degree. Right? So let's scratch that. Now they're using the word misogynistic or misogynistic. What does that even mean? We put women down? No, we don't. We uplift women. We just don't tolerate the BS nowadays. That's all. Men are beginning to talk and have a healthy discussion all around the world. We no longer tolerating these things. Now we know that it's a problem that we have in the community of fathers being in the household. But now we are communicating so much amongst men. We have the, thank God for the internet. That's slowly bridging the gap. Not saying that it's the best remedy, but nonetheless, it is a remedy. Do you agree? If not, leave those thoughts down below, because I want to know why you don't. Stephen A. Smith, you have the floor.
You're basically accusing black men who come up with a reason to not support Kamala Harris as engaging in misogyny. Whatever happened to disagreeing without being disagreeable, President Obama?
It's called a healthy disagreement. So if you don't agree, then you're the opposition. That's basically saying whatever I say go, and middle fingers up to whatever you think. Now, this will offend the independent thinkers. This will offend the intellectual thinkers. This will offend the strategic mindset. This would also offend the open mindset, right? Because there's no way you can just make that assumption and think it's your way or the highway when the highway have more than one lane. Make it make sense. Stephen A. Smith, you have the floor. You have the floor.
What happened to that?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, we want to challenge men and our love and our affection as black men for black women. We want to bring that into question because we've got an election coming up and people may have the temerity to think differently than you.
Do y'all smell something? And not what The Rock is cooking, but do you smell something? I smell a hint of desperado. I smell a hint of they're trying to push a certain narrative and a certain agenda or agenda, right? And why just target us black men when there's all sorts of men? Why us? Is it because, like Malcolm X said on the Democratic poll, that we are the key factor, though they may treat us like we're not? But we're the only people that vote for them and get absolutely nothing. It seems that this narrative will be rewritten. It's in the making right now. Can't y'all see? Smash that like button if you agree. It's in the making right now.
It's because she's a woman that she's in danger of losing this election? Didn't Hillary Clinton win the popular vote in 2016?
That part.
Didn't she get over 2.8 million more votes than Donald Trump in the popular vote for the 2016 election? Last time I checked, she's a woman. Are we there sitting here and implying that black men would be more apropos to support a white woman than a black woman? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? It's a rhetorical question because it makes no sense to me. Before I go even further, let's hear more from Mr. Khalil.
One of the things students love about
Mr. Khalil. Now, Mr. Khalil is writing all of these prophecies that isn't true, right? Mr. Khalil, what did you say, Mr. Khalil? Let's read together, right? Let's read together. Mr. Khalil states that we're not a monolith. However, we are just like every other American in this country who wants a good paying job that we can provide for our children and participate in their lives and the lives of other partners, that we can get them home safely, afford to go to the grocery stores, save a little for retirement, and have a vacation. It's more to life than just that. But I digress. It's more to life than just that. But I digress. You have the floor. You have the floor.
Retirement and have a vacation. This country who wants a good paying job that we can provide for our children and participate in their lives and the lives of our partner, that we can get them home safely, afford to go to the grocery store, save a little for retirement, and have a vacation. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that explanation, Khalil Thompson. Why didn't you say that from the jump? What's up with the misogyny comments? I will have you know, and President...
He playing both sides. He playing both sides. To me, they're getting paid off for these things. It's a big payout. It is a big payout. And this is why I say that to be true, right? It made me want to start an agency. It made me want to start a migrant agency or an immigration agency. This is why. Do you know how much money they put into these things? You know who made a lot of money during this migration crisis with 20 million migrants crossing the border? Transportations, hotels. I have to have shelters, right? Transportation, hotels, and shelters. And then also programs that allow them to be able to learn the language and allow them to get a job or anything along that nature. Those are the programs that, to me, those are the entities to me that made a boatload. I'm talking about back that mail truck up type of money. Brinks truck at that. Back the Brinks truck up type of money. A fortune. So it made me think every 4 years these things happen. And this is not financial advice, but I know how I'm setting up my ecosystem. I will get paid off of these things no matter what they say, because everyone got paid off of it. Right? That's what I'm starting to notice. They got a large payout. I'm talking about they're getting paid more than market price. To house them, you get paid so much. Just to simply house them. 16, 20,000 per each person that you house. Imagine you have a shelter. It happens every 4 years. I'm just following the trend. Not financial advice. But Stephen A., you got the floor.
Obama, our 44th president of the United States, who I voted for not once but twice, who was the president from 2009 to 2017, who to me was exemplary, who to me had the greatest first lady in the history of this country, who has been a phenomenal role model to black people and to black men and the men across this globe. That same Barack Obama, how could you say something like that? How could you ignore the facts that are lying in front of all of us? You don't want Trump to be president. We think that Trump could be an unmitigated disaster. In my opinion, he'll be on a revenge tour. In my opinion, there's a lot of things he bloviated about and didn't deliver on. We don't want to get into too much about COVID. We don't want to get into much about him overblowing his contribution to HBCUs, the wall that he was going to build, and the Mexican was going to pay for it. He ended up building 2% of the wall, and the Mexicans didn't pay a dime. We could get into a whole bunch of stuff about him. That's a given. I understand that. But let's get back to the part about black men. That's what we're going to talk about right now. That's what we're going to talk about. President Obama, why didn't you tell the folks with the cameras rolling and the black men in attendance that there's been diminishing black voters, particularly black men, since you were in office? In 2008, 95% of the black populace.
You want to know why that is? Because he put the LGBT community above the entire, above black people, above his voters, even above women. He put that community above because that's who they catering and pondering to. Let me know if you agree or you don't agree. That's what I noticed. These are the same people that disrespected the Christian culture. And I'm not big on religion, but still, respect is respect and disrespect is disrespect. They was awfully disrespectful. On Easter, they disrespected them. On the Olympics, they also disrespected them by spreading their malarkey. They changing laws to where as though now you go inside of the men's bathroom, you have tampons in the men's bathroom. To me, that's sick. That's sickening. They identify as this and identify as that. But yet, when it boils down to it, how could you really change your biology? Now, I don't have anything against the community, but I do have to have a stance on it, meaning that if you're an adult, you do your own thing. Do I support it? Hell no. But I don't have to agree with everything that anyone's doing. Not every single little thing. But when you cross the line and you start to program the kids, which are innocent minds, to think how you think, problemos, big problems. That's a bit perverted. That's a bit manipulative, right? Leave the innocence out of it. As an adult, you choose. If that's what you choose, go on. If you don't want to procreate, that's on you. You know? But let the kids make their own decision and make an educated decision when they get of age. Don't put it in the schools, and please stop putting it in the churches. Because that's an insult. Y'all actually took the rainbow, which meant peace and prosperity and hope and all these different things, and y'all turn it into y'all national flag. That's another disrespectful point of view. If you're a Christian in the chat, let me know how they offended you. And what do you plan on doing about these things? Because even God went to war. God of wars. Even God went to war. Because he believed in what he stood for. That's all I'm saying. But let's continue.
Voted for Barack Obama. It dipped in 2012 by about 6 to 8%. It dipped another 6% in 2016 when Hillary was running. It dipped even more in.
You know why I dipped? You know why I dipped? Because people are waking up to the malarkey. People are waking up.
2020 when Trump ran against Biden. It's been dipping since 2008. It didn't just start.
It been started.
Was that about misogyny? Was that about a hesitancy to support our women? I am getting sick and tired of black men being raked through the coals because of some imagery of not being supportive of black women. Do you know what most black men would do if they saw a black woman getting harmed in the streets? They put their lives on the line for that sister.
Big facts.
We talked about the absence of black fathers in the past. What do we do simultaneously? We applaud the mothers who've uplifted us, who've nurtured us, who've made us into who we are. I can make an argument. No one loves women, particularly black women, more than black men. No one.
Facts.
You must know this.
Stephen A. Smith, he knows this. What he's doing is, remember, he's an intellect. He's smart as well. He's using what he knows and he's trying to dismantle it, reverse engineer it to what, and make it seem as if we don't know it. It's reverse psychology to me in its purest, finest form. That's all that he's doing. He's using what he already know, right, to separate us, which means that, and he was raised on the other side of town anyway. So can he really relate? 9 times out of 10, not. Same thing as Kamala. Can she really relate? 9 times out of 10, not. That's why she don't seem to be authentic. If she don't have the teleprompter on, she is stuck like a deer in the headlights. She's stuck. Let's continue.
Black men support the Democratic Party more than everyone but black women. That means we support the Democratic Party more than white women, more than white men, more than Latino women, more than Latino men, more than Asian women, more than Asian men.
You know what that means? Like I said, we are the majority. So they're actually losing the majority votes. That's all that's happening right now. It's happening in real time too. They're losing their majority votes. Simply said. So if you lose your majority, what are you going to do? Your majority is going right over there. And they say, you know what? Just for that, we're going to vote for Trump. Just for that. Just because you're telling us what to do and then you're trying to dismantle the whole family dynamics and you went on air saying these things around the world, it's over. we ourselves are going to destroy you because we are forced to be reckoned with. They act like they don't need us, but they need us. We spend the most amount of money in the world, so we actually are getting every culture rich. Indian, Asian, every culture, white, we get everyone rich. When we start looking towards ourselves and our brothers and sisters, it's over. When we start making this difference and saying, hey, why don't I like me? Because that's basically saying you don't like your brothers, you don't like your sisters, right? When we start to spend the money amongst each other, it is over because we spend trillions of dollars. Why do you think that they have to make sure on the news that we are divided? Because that's how they conquer us. But one day, I'm sure that it will change. And it seems as if it's changing as we speak. More and more people are coming together than ever before, regardless of what the narratives say online. More and more people are coming together than ever before, and we're tired of the BS. This is how I know this to be true. Because I'm at work the other day, and I'm talking amongst the men, amongst the fellas. And I first came in there, they looked at me like I was on something. You're voting for Trump? I said, yeah, because I see through the BS. But you a black man. They hit me with a race card. Then as the news changes narrative, right? Now they saying, you know what? My wife think that I'm voting for Kamala just to keep the peace in the house when you're supposed to be a leader and let her know what she need to vote for. But that's a whole nother conversation. We're in America. Everyone wants to vote how they vote, right? You have a choice. Cool. They say, you know what? She ain't gonna know who I'm voting for. I'm gonna act like I'm voting for Kamala. When I get there, I'm voting for Trump. I said, whoa. Now this happened in a matter of, let's just say 4 to 5 weeks. Because every week it seemed like she just don't get it. She's showing her hand. Every week she's showing her hand. She's showing her hand. She's showing her hand. Just last night, she was on Fox 5 with Britt Bayer. When I mean he cooked her, sauteed, well done, marinated her. Grab your pots and pans. It's time to cook. Don't forget the spatula. He done flipped her already on the other side. Right? When I seen that, I said it's over. Because remember, they was on biased channels like CNN, ABC, NBC. They was on these channels that it was basically Trump against them. Now she went over to Fox 5, which isn't biased, right? Or they try not to be. Let's just say that, right? And he was cooking up the cook-up. Right in front of her, too. Had her stumbling over her words. She didn't know what to say. The first thing he asked her about was the migrant crisis. Knowing that they made a program to get all of them over here. The CHNV program. Look it up. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up yourself. The CHNV program. Look it up. Flew people over here. Then they landed them in the sanctuary cities like New York, Chicago, all the major players, right? Then they housed them, and then they gave them money, food and everything, while they gave the American citizens absolutely nothing. So that goes to show they would use you and then turn their back on you immediately. Immediately. Let me know your thoughts about that.
Nobody, in terms of percentage, supports the Democratic Party more than black people. Black women first, black men second. Even as we sit here today, as Kamala Harris is neck and neck with Donald Trump, she's getting at least 80% of the black vote, according to the polls. And if there's a question mark about her, why don't we tell the truth?
It's a big question mark about her, right? It's a big question mark right on her forehead. And we all know why. We all know why.
It may very well have nothing to do with her, per se, but what she has inherited. You have a president in Joe Biden.
Now, that's where I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith on. It has everything to do with her and her campaign because she's been in the same campaign, right? She had the power to pull the strings as much as Biden had the power to pull the strings. She was the border czar. She signed the Inflation Act into effect because she was the deciding vote. So this is where I don't agree with you, Stephen A. Smith, but I don't have to agree with everything anyone says, right? Your first points was on point. Now, this point, this is where I had to interject. She have to be held accountable for her actions. She can't keep blaming Trump, which the Democratic Party had in the last 16 years. They ran it for at least 12. So they had the majority of these laws. Look at where we came from in the last 12 years. All right. Apologies for that. Apologies for that. I got to remember to start plugging in my computer. That's totally on me. Let's take full accountability. That's totally on me. But let's get back to it, Stephen A. Smith. Let's get back to it. Because I don't want to start this live over. Let's get back to it, Stephen A. Smith. Let's get back to it. Right where we left off.
Who has his own history. Don't get me started with the crime bill of 1994.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring up Trump in the 70s and rent control and all and denying rent to black folks. We don't want to bring up Biden and how he got along with segregationists in the 70s. We don't want to bring up how Kamala Harris, then a presidential candidate in 2020, called him out for his support of segregationists when it came to busing. We want to ignore that. You don't think black people heard that?
Of course we did.
You don't think there's some trepidation in the hearts and the minds of black people from time to time? At least from the past? Not even talking about what he's done during this administration, which some people will believe his policies and his heart have been in the right place in some of their eyes. You're President Obama. How do you ignore that? Inflation, the cost of living, the price of gas, the price of groceries.
Basically, the things that matters to America. Why they ignoring all of the facts, the things that make America great? They're ignoring these things, but yet they want to point the finger across the railroad track and saying that it's Trump's fault. You can't just blame the man. Sometimes you got to take full responsibility. Y'all been in office for the last 12 years out of 16 years, right? For the last 12 years out of 16 years. So make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense. From a macro perspective. Make it make sense.
That don't matter? Folks ain't paying attention to that? Immigration and our borders. And this belief that there's an elevated level of sensitivity towards them as opposed to black folks struggling, if not starving in this country. Yes, that plays a role too.
Most of our resources is going where? To the migrants. Most of our resources is going where? To the people that supporting Obama and everything else, the people that they own favor for. The community. The LGBT community. That's where most of our favor is going to. Y'all gotta pay attention, right? When we casting our vote for the Democrats, which I don't advise, but if you casting your vote, what have we actually got in the last 50 years? I'm waiting for an answer. Are we further ahead or are we further behind? Which one? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that we're further ahead. Right? Put a 2 in the chat if you think that we're further behind. Leave your thoughts down below. I really want to know.
I brought it up right here on this show. When the mayor of New York was talking about $53 million in prepaid credit cards.
Eric Adams. And look what's happening to him now. Look what's happening to Eric Adams now, under investigation. Not once, but this is the second time. And hypothetically, allegedly, supposedly, he may be linked to Diddy. No Diddy. He may be linked to Diddy, no Diddy. So what does that tell you? You gave the man the keys to the city, which means that you're linked to Diddy. No Diddy. There's something wicked and wild going on. That's all I got to say. And look at what's happening in Chicago with Brandon Johnson. Giving millions of dollars, right, to the migrants. What sense does that make? It's a bunch of nonsense while stuffing their pocket at the same time. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure. I know that when a politician go in office, 9 times out of 10, when they first go in, they're broke as a joke. When they leave, all of them are multi-millionaires. Don't y'all find that to be funny? Follow the money. Don't y'all find that to be funny? Follow the money.
For immigrants who came across our borders illegally and having prepaid credit cards for them. And I said, wait a minute, black folks been starving for years. We ain't get that. You don't think they notice?
You
don't think they notice?
They think we dumb.
Is it possible that
they got money and they also got scooters all over the city? Have y'all seen it? What's going on in Chicago right now? What's going on in all these sanctuary cities like New York right now? They got scooter gangs. It's more scooters outside that I've ever seen before. I've never seen that many scooters in the world. So as though we look like a third world country. You know, here you got the cars and you got the scooters always by the car, and then there's just so much traffic and so much this and that. It looked like we have traffic like we in India. It looked like we have traffic like we in India. Let's discuss.
Only reason.
What if I told you?
What have you told me? What? Let's go on to the next one.
Some black folks, not me, but some black folks may not be inclined to vote, or they may be a bit disenchanted, or dare I say, may even be willing to go as far as voting for Trump. Is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny?
That was well said, Stephen A. Smith. That was well said. He said it's policy, it's not misogyny. That was well said. Because if you understand that, then you understand the whole game. Then she on the interview yesterday, right, on Fox 5. And instead of her broadcasting her policy, she gonna tell us, go online and look at my digital footprint. I shouldn't have to explain myself. Go online and look. I said, the disrespect. Where's the respect? There is none. You got to fight for your respect nowadays. Well, you've been had to do it because respect is earned, but it seems like they want you to do more than just earn your respect. You damn they got to bend over backwards for your respect. Now that's crazy to me. Smash that like button if you agree. Where's the morals and where's the principles, right? Where is that at? It's a lost art.
Is it possible that they've looked at a Democratic Party that is locked in on addressing or not addressing immigration and folks crossing the borders illegally, and have prioritized focusing on that along with other issues, identity politics and beyond, that has become such a focal point that has turned off folks in the African American community? Some, not most, not all, just some. Is that possible? And is it possible that that is the reason why even Kamala Harris herself has become a bit more assertive in addressing the issue of immigration, in addressing the economy, in addressing a plan for Black America as opposed as it pertains to facilitating more business loans for minority ownership and things of that ilk?
Pause. But the thing about this, y'all got to read in between the lines. Don't read the headlines, right? She's saying that she's willing to give others. Y'all got to remember, she don't identify as Black. That's not what she's running with. She's not running with that narrative. That's why she can't never answer that question directly. Key word, right? When you read and you study the English language, pay attention to wording and how they word things, right? It states that even with her Black man proposal agenda, right? She stated that she would give men, which was so disrespectful to me. Everybody don't smoke weed. Everybody not into weed and marijuana, right? That holds you back from so many other different things, right? You giving people $20,000 loans, right? That they can be forgiven, but at the same time, the key word is others. She said Black and others, right? Which means who y'all think the other is? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the others is the LGBT community. Put a 2 in the chat if you think the others is whites. Put a 3 in the chat if you think the others is immigrants, Indians. 4 in the chat if you think it's Indians. Put a 5 in the chat if you think it's all of the above. I'm telling y'all that others means a lot. See, it's the same thing that they've been doing when they say, well, you know, all lives matter, right? Which I don't believe in the Black Lives Matter, because that was ran by lesbians, which means that what did they do? They took your money and say, thank you, come again. I've been seeing the play from so far away. They've been doing the same thing since we was born. They use our pain, they use our struggles, and when it's time to redistribute the wealth, they were nowhere to be found. So the group that she's advocating for is the same group that she want the majority votes for. She want the Hispanic migrant groups. Not even Hispanic, let's just say the migrant groups, because that's a large conglomerate of different racial cultures. So let's just say she want to put them at the forefront. Why you think 14 states in the United States, right, don't require voter IDs in order for them to vote? Therefore, who is she pitching to? Can we talk about it? This is a wicked game that they're playing. And most of the people they pitching to are Black, no English. They can't read, they can't write. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna use your ignorance against you, like they've been doing to people. It's the same play, just a different day. Can we talk about it? It's the exact same play. They running the same playbook. Because if it ain't broke, why fix it? This time the playbook is broke. And y'all have a near. Can we say TikTok time is ticking? Can we say TikTok time is ticking? Y'all got about 2 more weeks left. And what magic trick can y'all pull out y'all hat? That's what I want to see. Harry Houdini. I would like to see. It's a magic show right here, if you ask me. Leave them thoughts down below. Let me know.
Is it possible that black folks, particularly black men, more so than the black women, who you look at Roe v. Wade and the women's rights and what have you, in Trump's position, they're like, he's got no chance in hell of luring them in. But is it possible that when it comes to the men, the men are saying, wait a minute, get all that. But what you gonna do for us?
Absolutely nothing. I could have answered that question. Absolutely nothing. They're going to use, misabuse. There's nothing wrong with being used, but when you get misused, problems. So that's to me, that's their tactic. They've been doing it for a while. Malcolm X, I just did a video the other day. Y'all go check it out. What Malcolm X been saying this since the damn 70s. 70s, 80s, been saying the same thing. And they running the same play. And I had to think about it. I'm like, damn. If he was alive right now, it would have been the same play. It would have been, we have the same issues. Times 10, times 30, 40 years. It's a saying that goes that they said that they had us in a headlock for 200 years. It's only been 50 so far. So ain't y'all tired of being in the headlock? How about actually thinking for self? Now, some people might say, you know what? I don't vote. I don't need a vote. And to a certain extent, I get it. Especially if you're not getting nothing out of it. Then why vote if you're not getting nothing out of it? But if you're an informed voter, you understand that the state legislation, at least on the state level, it matters, right? On the electoral college vote levels, it's something that we really don't control. Right? That's beyond you and I. But still be informed about it, because on the state level, it does matter. It does matter. But let's continue. Because if it didn't, why are they pondering to us so much? Something matters. Something.
Could it be the issues as opposed to just misogyny? You know the answer to that question better than me, Barack Obama.
I know he knows.
The right may have a problem with you. Folks on the left, Democrats, progressives, you're revered. As a black man who is an independent, you are an incredible role model and somebody that I have admired for years.
Used to be until I figured out your whole agenda. I said, he hit us with the okie doke. They did the same thing that they doing with us, the identity politics thing. Oh, just because he black, they not going, they on our side. That is the most misleading thing that I've ever heard. And one of the misleading things that I've ever felt for. Oh, you know, I used to think like that until I began to think. I said, The same thing. They say history repeat itself, but not like this. It's not going to happen again. First black man president. Now it's the first black woman president that don't even identify as being black. Leave your comments down below.
But to say that,
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house.
But to say that to me is highly rude and disrespectful, Obama. It's highly rude and disrespectful. You know one, Papa.
to black men, to attribute their hesitancy, their reluctance, their reticence to support Kamala Harris, to you just don't want to support a woman, really?
That was a low blow.
Respectfully, sir, that's messed up. That's a messed up thing to accuse black men of.
He tried to hit us beneath the belt. If we was boxing and this was a boxing match, he tried to hit us, try to get a little quick shot in over the head, right? Or he tried to hit us beneath the belt. Ouch. Try to hit us where it hurts. And then trying to use the woman against us. As if we don't care about the black woman. That's crazy psychology to me. That's dangerous. That man's dangerous. It's the same man that owned Blue Shield, Blue Cross. I keep telling y'all, look at the Hatch Act. And by November 5th, y'all health insurance is going to skyrocket at least by 5x. So what the elderly people going to do? The people that need their medicine, need a dialysis, needed that, they need it. What are they going to do when they're on a fixed rate? Wicked to me. Pay attention. Wicked to me.
When you know good and damn well, there are a plethora of reasons for us to point to than that to justify our apprehension. Doesn't mean you ain't gonna vote for her. Doesn't mean you don't want her to win. But my Lord, is it a crime to not be ultra excited when you see some of the choices that are before us?
We don't have a choice.
And you see the decisions that have been made and the messages that have been disseminated. A black man asking, what about us, is not a crime.
I believe that Mike said the same thing. What about us? And they don't give a about us. See, it hit different now, don't it? What about us? And they don't give a about us. For real, for real. And this goes to show the higher up they get, the less that they can. We can't say, oh, this is just a rich issue. It can be because it started at the top and then trickled down, right? But we can dive a little bit more deep. Not everybody that's rich think like this. They even battling amongst themselves. So we can't just say that. That's just be a basic form of thinking. We can dive a little bit deeper on this one. But Obama, you dead wrong. And Kamala, you're dead wrong as well. And I want to know cuántos. How much? How much are they paying you? And it doesn't even matter how much they're paying you, because you shouldn't have a right to sell out your brothers and sisters like that and throw people under the bus. The same people that you need in order for you to succeed, you're going to throw right under the bus. Then you drive over them and then back the bus back up to drive back over them. Lethal. This is what's going on in the States. In fact, this is what's going on around the world. These type of ideologies are very infectious. Your mind is the most important thing. So if it's corrupted like this, my fathers, my God. It's a sense of evil and wickedness and cruelty. And it's very demonic. Finish it up, Stephen A. Smith. Finish it up.
It's not misogyny.
No, it's not.
It's us exercising our rights as American citizens to question why you should have our support, which you yourself as the president for 8 years told us we had every right to do.
They tell you one thing and do the total opposite. Let me repeat. They will tell you one thing and do the total opposite. They tell the left hand something and let the right hand know something else. It's a form of manipulation. The big form of it.
That's all I'm going to say for now. Love me some Barack Obama. Always have, always will.
But
Just very disappointed that you would say that to black men who are a bit apprehensive. I'm voting for Kamala. So you weren't talking to me. But still.
And this is what I don't get. This is where I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith. So somebody gonna spit in your face, step in your face, push you over, and then you still voting for the same cause, but yet, I don't know what side of the table you on, but yet you want to point out. So what you did is for the views. You want to point out their flaws. Actions speak louder than words, brother. And to me, your words ain't mean a thing. Well, I'm still voting for Kamala. What in the world? You still doing what? After this man just said what he said, you did exactly what he said to do, but yet you want to tell him about himself. This is where I don't agree. We could disagree. This is a healthy disagreement. Stephen A. Smith, this can be one of the healthiest ones, right? This is where I don't agree with you. We're going to vote for the other side. We like business. We entrepreneurs. We like our money. We like less taxes. That's what we like. Less inflation. We want things to be made here, not over there. Not saying that it's going to happen all like this, but when Trump was in office, the money was flowing. It was flowing. Now that he's out of office, it's like, what's going on? And we simply can't just blame him for where we're at right now. Like I say, look at the macroeconomics of it. The Democrats have been in power for the last 12 years, out to 16. He only had 4 years. Republicans only had 4 years. And they did more in 4 years than y'all did in 12. So I don't like to waste time. Time is very valuable, right? Let's not waste it. It's not enough hours in a day. Especially when you're trying to build something, create something, and conquer something. It's not enough hours in a day. So Stephen A. Smith, that's what we disagree. You said all of that to say, well, I'm still voting for her. What? What's the point of you talking about it then? Can we talk about it? Well, let's discuss. On that note, peace, blessings, and love. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Make sure that you hit those links down below. Email me another subject matter y'all want me to go over. Every day I probably stream in the morning, at least between 10 and 11 o'clock, right? 10 and 11 o'clock. We're going to stream between that time for an hour, hour and a half, right? 12 o'clock will be my latest, my cutoff time, right? On that note, peace, blessings, and love. And remember, positivity over negativity, always.